My eyes have really opened, I'd say, the last 5 years to like what is possible. You can truly build a business out of this. The more that you learn, the more that you know how to do, and the more that you can do, the business will grow to that, right? But he's also trapped by his business. When he takes a week off to go on a vacation with his family, there's nobody visiting customers, nobody selling. People are gonna laugh at you when you're on video. I used to always get made fun of because I was like this on camera or whatever. You know what? It is what it is. You gotta have thick skin.
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have a super special guest in Crayton from Torq Coatings. When I talked to Crayton a couple of years ago, I was immediately like, wow, this guy he's serious about business. This is not just a little side project for Crayton. He's really into it and he's an incredible business owner. So you've got an awesome guest for us today. But Crayton, for anybody who doesn't know you or anything about your story, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Yeah, Clay, appreciate you having me on. And it was good to connect with you a couple of years ago. I remember that first conversation, and it's awesome to see your business grow since and have a lot of, other friends that you're helping as well. Yeah, a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Northwest Indiana. I'm going to be 31 in a couple of days. So I've been in the home improvement space for about 10 years. Started by doing sales, project management in the landscape outdoor living space for about 6 years, and then got into the floor coating space about 5 years ago. And that's the industry I've been in for the last 5 years. And all in all, I've really dove deep into home improvement, home service, love what it's about, and love how every industry is so different. But at the end of the day, these are just awesome sales and marketing companies that just so happen to install or provide a certain service.
For any business owners listening, we're going to get into sales and marketing and how Crayton's been able to grow businesses. I'm sure he's going to have some gems for y'all. A little bit on the Torq side real quick. Y'all have been able to grow incredibly fast and y'all's reviews are incredible. So what is the number one thing that y'all do to keep your customers happy even as you're growing so fast?
As you learn what works, it's keeping it simple, stupid. This is just a funnel from top down. How do we generate a lead the most cost-effective way? How do we build awareness in a new market? And then, set appointments as fast as possible to get out there to serve the customers, with speed, but also sending out a design consultant that actually knows what they're talking about, what they're looking at, making sure that customer experience starts off right. You see a lot of companies in the home improvement space growing very fast. And obviously, no one's perfect. When you're adding people left and right and you're putting salespeople out and adding crews and doing more volume, there's always something that's going to give. Nobody's perfect, but focusing on just keeping the experience simple and the process is simple and scalable, so that way you can teach it and it's repeatable and duplicatable is really what I have learned to it's not that hard. Keep it so simple that you can explain it to a third grader. I heard a guy the other day say kind of like when you're talking to ChatGPT, you literally have to tell it how you want it and how you want it to put something back out to you. You have to prompt it and prime it. Your processes need to be that way. So really trying to not overcomplicate things, keep things simple. And when we have an issue, how do we solve it, right? I'm in an industry where we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're not inventing the product. We're not inventing the equipment. The install process is already done. It's just at the end of the day, the playbook has already been done in front of you. It's called R&D, rip off and duplicate, right?
Yeah.
Find what others are doing in the same space or other parallels or even outside of that and bring it back into your space and just put it all together, make your own playbook, build your brand, and take care of customers and take care of your internal team.
When it comes to coding specifically, I think that it's a space a lot of customers might have a lot of misconceptions about. Yeah. There might be a lot of information and education that y'all have to do throughout the sales process. And so what's some of the biggest misconceptions that you hear from customers when it comes to y'all's process with the coatings?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of misconceptions of what this product can and can't do, what warranties cover and what they don't cover. Most people just refer to what we do as epoxy, right? That's just what a homeowner knows of it as in layman's terms. Products have come so far over the last 15 years or so that it allows us to be more versatile, to not just do garages, but do basements here in the Midwest, outdoor spaces and things like that. But there is a lot of things we can't do too. And one of the things I think we run into a lot is the whole lifetime warranty thing. Obviously, we offer it for the 3 things that we can control, but people oversold and the warranty's over-marketed. At the end of the day, nothing is no maintenance. Everything has something that could go wrong with it, right? And it has a lifespan to it. So I definitely think it's a warranty. And then I think the other thing too, the product we use is marketed so hard that it's stronger and this than that than epoxy. Epoxy is not necessarily a bad product. It's just not the right product for a garage floor top coat. certain things like that. And like, there's literally people that have been in this industry 5 years that don't realize like there's a lot of products out there and there's a thousand ways to skin a cat, right? But at the same time, like this industry is great. It's been growing. It's been one of the hottest things in home improvement the last 5 to 10 years because of the average ticket, and you can do things in a day and stuff like that. However, there is a difference between a generalist and a specialist too. Is that all somebody does, or is they adding it as a product to have something else to sell?
Real quick, if you're a local business owner and you want to start getting customers from Google, you know how important Google reviews are. Every week, I talk to business owners just like you across hundreds of industries who know reviews matter, but never seem to have the time or the system in place to actually get them. That's exactly why I've spent the last 2 years building Review Harvest. We built it with a non-tech savvy business owner in mind, so anybody can set it up in minutes and start getting reviews today. It automates the process of getting real reviews from your customers, responding to those reviews, and repurposing them across your website and across your social media platforms. It's a set it and forget it software. You can get it all set up in about 10 minutes and you never have to worry about reviews again. We can integrate into the tools you're already using, so you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to train your team on how to request reviews. You don't have to request them manually. You get customers, we get your reviews. It's simple as that. And the first play in our playbook is what we call a review reactivation. You probably have hundreds or thousands of previous customers who loved your service but never left your review. So a lot of times our users can double or even triple their reviews just in the first couple months of working with us when we do that review reactivation. It is such a sexy service too, right? Like you said, because of the ticket, because it can be done quickly. To my knowledge, it doesn't require like permitting or stuff like that.
Like painting your house, right? Painting is sexy because like you don't need a permit. There's no inspections. It's simple square footage. You're out. You're done. Obviously, though, with that, things can go wrong too, right? So the barrier to entry to some of these home service or home improvement industries is bare to none. Anybody could buy a grinder or rent one and call themselves a concrete coating company and run $500 a month in Facebook ads, right? And all of a sudden they're a quote unquote competitor, right? When I was in the landscaping space, it was the same way, right? Anyone that had a truck and a trailer and a lawnmower was considered a landscaper, but yet that's what got classified as your competition when you're bidding a 6-figure backyard project. It's like, it's not apple to apple,
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, you grow fast. You're a doer. I think that getting a hold of Crayton when I do message him is such a rare thing for me to get a little bit of your attention because I know you're just going. Mm-hmm. So talk to us a little bit about just overall, we'll get into nitty gritty, but talk to us a little bit overall about your mindset on how to grow these types of home improvement businesses.
I think it's evolved as I've evolved. Early on, it was like I was always a really good salesperson, was competitive and loved to be in the house and, sold landscaping and then loved marketing and had to learn the project management side. That wasn't a natural skill set for me, but kind of just became well-rounded that way, I guess, to the best of my ability. My eyes have really opened, I'd say, the last 5 years to like what is possible. You can truly build a business out of this and a business that can scale, a business that can be, profitable, that can provide a lot of opportunity for a lot of people and still take care of the customer. And you see all these companies growing and scaling and selling private equity and this and that. And it's just like, you don't realize what really goes on out there until right in front of your face. And it's like, holy cow, like it's, some of us make it harder than it really needs to be. I'm big on just trying to personally grow. The business can only grow as much as you grow, right? Yeah. John Maxwell has the book, The Law of the Lid, right? The more that you learn, the more that you know how to do, and the more that you can do, right? The business will grow to that, right? And then I think also just being marketing and sales minded. At the end of the day, we're a recruiting, marketing, and sales company. That's how you need to view it. Our widget just so happens to be, for you, it's software, right? For us, it's floor coatings, right? It's no different. I think it's just taking that mindset to it and finding a playbook that's repeatable and scalable and not being afraid to put yourself out there either. Marketing is uncomfortable. You're going to get told no. People are going to laugh at you when you're on video. I used to always just get made fun of because I was like this on camera or whatever. But you know what it is? Like, you got to have thick skin. You got to be willing to be told no and take chances. And when you come into an industry, you got to go all in with it. Yeah. The only way to learn it is by doing it and to find the best information you can to be able to make the best decisions you can and know your trade and truly be a master at it. Another thing I want to hit on is kind of your speed. I've talked to a lot of great entrepreneurs on this podcast in the last couple of years. And even with that, I look at some of them and I keep up with them, see how they're doing, whatever. And half as fast as you. It's not even close. It seems like you're moving 20 times, 30 times, 40 times faster. And with that, you have to make a lot of decisions. We'll get into that in business and stuff. And like, y'all have grown incredibly fast, but like, you have to make a lot of decisions really quickly. How are you able to execute at the speed that you do with your company? At the end of the day, you build a business for a lot of reasons, right? And what you want out of your business is unique to you. And there's no right or wrong answer. Like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. It's like, you hear the term lifestyle business. He's built a really great lifestyle business, but he's also trapped by his business because, when he takes a week off to go on a vacation with his family, there's nobody visiting customers, nobody selling, someone answering the phones now, but like you create a job, right? And so that's great. It depends what you want to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
So you structure it that way. And I think the longer, you've come a long way the last 3 or 4 years too, as I've known you, right? And like, you're like, oh no, we're only going to do this. But now you're starting to add more stuff and open it up because you realize like you're already serving the customer, right? I think for me, it's just learned and just trying to keep it simple. I'm learning that the shiny object syndrome is not always the greatest thing, and that when things start to get boring is like when you really have to like dig into it and keep pushing, right? But at the same time too, Clay, like I'm obsessed. I love to learn. I love to work. I'm not married. I have no kids. So I have obviously nothing but time, and that's to my advantage.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, how can I maximize that, and prepare for future family and learn from previous mistakes and just get better every day. I don't know if that's one direct answer, but you can't be afraid to make a decision too, because indecision is, there's a cost and effect to that as well.
Yeah. And that's something that nobody can properly weight, or you can put a weight to, but it's one of the heaviest things, indecision, right? It can stay there forever indefinitely. And eventually you just got to decide, and it's okay to make mistakes.
Not everybody's going to have $1 million, $5 million, 10, 20, 50 million, $100 million business. And that's okay. Like if you want to do 500,000 in XYZ pressure washing service and you make a great living off it, there's no issue with that, right? But everybody has equal opportunity. We're in America, so great.
Yeah. And just to be a testament of the boring things, when I look back at the last couple of years, and our biggest growth months or quarters or years even were the years when I was doing the boring stuff. It's like, it was the years of just like doing the right thing that we know works and just doing more of it, And it's crazy how often we want to jump ship and try the new shiny marketing tactic or whatever it is, but it's not the thing.
Which, at the same time, like makes a relevant point is obviously we live in the world of speed. Like that's just what we live in. Like everybody wants something fast. You could turn on ads. People want a lead by the click of a button. People want their stuff done fast. They want you to meet them fast. Their attention span is short. And so speed to lead, we've all heard that, right? Like, but that goes like, I'm learning that goes in all realms of the business, right? Even from like where I've really learned a lot the last 6-9 months is like recruiting and hiring and training and all that is like, we're all in the people business, some of us more than others, but that's the hardest part. And, so you have to treat that like speed to lead, like get back to a candidate, interview them, make a decision, train them, slow to hire, quick to fire, like all of that, right? Same thing in marketing. If you're 3 months out on installs, like sure, it's a great thing, but it's also not a good thing, right? Because you're losing customers. And if people are able to serve them faster and be more efficient, you're leaving an opportunity on the table. So I think it's like balancing all of it. Like how do you stay disciplined? How do you learn from your mistakes? But how do you use the tools that are out there and the technology and the AI and kind of put it all together? And that's where you can become dangerous, right? You can't get over like you have to do the work. You have to do the boring stuff.
I would classify Torq as a very high growth home improvement business right now. Yep. And I think you've already touched on it, but you can't do that by yourself. Like you can get a certain distance by yourself. And if that's the goal you want to hit, that's great. But I think you have very big goals. And you have a great team. And so talk to us about kind of starting this business recently. What was the team that you put in place? How did you structure it? Because there's a lot of people listening to this who want to drastically grow their home improvement business, but they can't because they've never led a team before. They've never hired a sales guy. They've never hired a customer support rep, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think you have to think about like, what are your goals and kind of, if there's a playbook that's out there, like reverse engineer it from there and do your best to make decisions based off of that. Obviously, usually business owners have a skill set or two that they're very strong at, right? Some people it's the day-to-day operations or, the field. Some people it's the sales side or whatever. Like I love the marketing side. I love the sales side. Like I'm learning to like more and more of it, but you can't do everything, at the end of the day. You're only as good as the team you have around you. And, this time around, I wanted to do it a bit differently, be very intentional. And surround myself with some smart people that can take ownership of decisions like in their own departments and help build the structure to scale something, of size and substance and also like be in alignment, from a vision and a mission and core values, trying to build a team, appropriately as we grow. But it doesn't happen overnight easy and it's not easy.
What were your first couple hires for Torq?
Most important hire was call center, like somebody to lead the call center. And obviously, people to make the dials, because if you don't have appointments, right? If you don't have the leads, you don't have appointments, you don't have appointments, you don't have sales reps and you don't have jobs to do, right? That was huge. And then also, getting the right sales team in place, which is never ending. And then really somebody that's going to take pride in leading the production side probably are the most important. We're not perfect. We're figuring it out as we go too.
For sure. And then like you said, you don't have the leads, you don't have the appointments, you don't have the sales. And so what does y'all's marketing look like for Torq right now? What are your highest lead generating kind of sources right now?
It's no secret that Meta is where people go in this space, right? Get quantity, right? It's always a balance of quantity and quality. How do you get that $30, $40, $50, $60 per lead call cost, but how many appointments are you setting, right? And selling,
Yep.
et cetera. So the volume comes from there. We're in a great market, millions of people in our metropolitan area. So we're servicing a good size area, so that helps. But Facebook, Google, and then honestly, we've been a bit different as being a little more face-to-face marketing. We did a fair amount of home shows, and now we're doing some car shows and different things like that where like our ideal customer is at. And having us not just going to go, but it's either A, really good brand awareness play, or B, a combination of that. Plus, like you can actually have a strategy to set appointments there. And then we've had decent success with that so far. That's just hard to scale because it's a people thing, right? That's pretty much been where, we're at. Anything digital, with lead aggregators we're working with. So probably have anywhere from 7 to 8 channels at any given moment. Probably as we continue to grow in multiple markets, it'll be upwards of 10 depending on the market. Radio, combination of things. I'm wired to obviously I want to do the cutting edge stuff. You do have to spend money to make money. You have to build the brand. You have to bring the awareness. You got to create the top of the funnel. Your marketing costs should come down, right? As you get more reviews, more referrals, more repeat business, and more of a brand awareness, right? And you have business year over year. You got to be prepared to if you want to hit some aggressive sales targets, the big boys are spending money and you got to compete with them.
Yeah.
And then when you're in the home, you got to be different. You have to build trust. You have to have a good sales process. You have to follow the process from A to Z, right? And ultimately not be afraid to ask for the business while you're there, because the chance of you getting a customer's time again after that 45 to 60-minute appointment is very few and far between.
Sure, I want to hit on a couple of things there. Number one, the brand. Branding is bold. It is pristine. Seemed like to me, it was day one. This is a decision that we're making, that we are going to go all in our branding. Walk us through what the decision-making process there. Yeah. And then for the business owners who have never experienced the power of a brand, what does that look like 3, 4, 5 years later down the line when you've had that consistent brand for years?
A brand is something that keeps people coming back, right? I mean, at the end of the day, a brand is not just a logo or a name or typography or something like that. Doing this time, I've learned a lot about that I've been fortunate to learn that over the last 5 years. You see these plumbing, HVAC, electrical companies, Tommy Mello, A1 Garage Door, right? They take these murder looking vans and they're doing $3 million in plumbing, John's Plumbing, right? And they rebrand to brands that kick charge or other companies. We used one called Lemon Seed. Lemon Seed was awesome to work with, but I was very intentional at the end of last year. Hey, I want to work with somebody who knows what they're doing. We're going to come up with a name that's unique, that we can do it in multiple markets and not have an issue with a trademark or anything like that. And also wanted it to stand for something as far as to who I am as a person, who I want our leadership team to be about, how we want to take care of customers, and what core values we want to have in our vision and mission here at Torq. So we worked with Lemon Seed Marketing, led by a girl named Emily. Multiple vendors, and some of them just weren't able to do it in the time frame that I wanted done. So we came up with a brand from start to finish in under 6 weeks, with several names, narrowed down to 2 or 3, several logo concepts and color palettes, and making decisions fast. But then we narrowed it on Torq, and it's turned out good. So from day one, we had a mission, a vision, core values, and a whole brand. And now it's the challenge is how do we integrate the brand into our day-to-day, right? Not just in our marketing, get consistent on social and personal touch, and what does the brand stand for? What does the brand mean? How do we want to be known, and all that. And so I think as a business owner, if you're listening to this, it's, sometimes you start a business and you just get a logo drawn up and what can I call it, right? Because it's a side business, or you're a technician that just wants to go out on your own or whatever. Think about if you actually put some intention to it and you invest into it, it will pay dividends long term, because you'll stand out. And the studies show, read the book Branded Not Blanded, and it's crazy. Your Performance Max campaigns, will perform that much better. So I wanted to build something that was sticky, I guess, was
I think the simplest example, I think this would have been used to death, but it's you go to Walmart and you look at a white plain t-shirt and it's $4 and it's just a white plain t-shirt, and then go ahead and slap the Supreme logo on it, or Polo, or whatever logo it is, and now all of a sudden people will pay way more money for that same white t-shirt. And that's the power of a brand. And applying that to the home improvement space is something that majority of home improvement businesses have not done, and so it's really cool to see y'all kind of pioneering the way there. And the next thing about your sales process, what does your sales process look like?
Sales process is, obviously we generate a lead, set the appointment, right? Go out and we do a free in-home consultation. Our outside sales rep, right? It's called a design consultant. Really that is to, understand who they are, what they're looking for, understand their needs, do discovery. And then, we've got a 8-step sales process we follow. Chuck Toki has put together. He's got an awesome in-home sales process for those of you that are in the home improvement side, roofing, windows, bath, concrete coatings. It's all tomato, just different product. So full inspection, we take a look at the concrete while we're there, check for moisture, and do the things that other companies don't do to really spec the right system. And then do a full detailed measurement. And then, we'll sit down inside and give them a little information about, who we are, how we do things, and then give them multiple options, of what their investment looks like, and then make sure they have all the information they need to make an educated decision, whether they go with us or someone else. Like, we want to make sure that they know what to look out for, because we've all heard of those homeowners that, make decisions off of price or this or that, or get ripped off or deposit taken or whatever. And like, I'm tired of hearing that. Like, the standard is not set very high. Let's just be honest, right? You can separate yourself by just being better and doing what you say you're going to do, showing up on time, being professional, doing a good job, asking for the review, asking for the business, and you're going to win, let alone if you can put it all together, So that's kind of what our sales process looks like.
Talking about the whole customer journey, what about after the sale, after the installation? What are some things you are doing after the customer journey to try and get that repeat business, to try and get those referrals? Because a lot of times businesses, especially in this industry, just forget that they pay them, they do the thing, and then they forget that.
And they just move on. They don't treat it like it's not even there, right? So one of the things that we're doing to try to like separate ourselves is, obviously, once we're done, like, we knock on the door, we give a personal touch, we ask for the review, make sure they understand the do's and the don'ts, like how to take care of your floor, what to avoid and whatnot. And then every project that gets sold has a project coordinator, somebody that's going to walk you through the entire customer journey from A to Z. And then post-care, long-term, if you need to know how to clean your floor, if you scratch your floor, if there's, a warranty issue due to something we did, we're here to take care of it and make it right. And at the end of the day, like, that's your reputation, right? The one downside is this business is you're only as good as your next deal or your next floor, right? It's hard to like get repeat business. People only have so much concrete at their house, but everybody has a neighbor, everybody has a family member, everybody has a grandma, right? That we can try to take care of as well.
What are y'all selling? I think you can hear coatings and stuff, but what is the actual benefit that you are typically presenting to this homeowner? Is it more livable space? Is it enjoying your garage? What are the things that y'all kind of hit in the sales process that kind of changes their life in the way that y'all have added this coating to their garage?
No, that's a good question, Clay. There's a difference between like features and benefits. We've been talking about that a lot. The benefits of this are have another room in your house, right? Sometimes the garage is usually the second largest room in the house. Largest, I guess you consider your basement, but so people work out and then people host family events and then, however they want to use it. So the expanded living space, the versatility of it is, the benefits are you're going to protect your concrete. In the Midwest, track road salt, pitting, cracking, all that. So you're protecting the concrete at your largest and most people's largest investment of their home. Easy to clean for sure. And then it's, chemical resistant, stain resistant, all those good things. I think the one thing that people don't really realize though is like, you're going to bring less dust in the house. And obviously it looks, but it really is like keep up with the Jones item. Like, people want it because their neighbor has it, type of thing too. If you have a basement and a garage, like your basement floods, you don't have to replace this floor. If it's outside, like you don't always have to rip your concrete out and re-pour it. And we've got a new product that we're installing that's like a permeable Spanish decorative stone outside. Awesome, that nobody else in Chicagoland or Wisconsin does that we do. That's unique and separates us for sure. We have multiple options for outdoor solutions now.
This has been really exciting just to hear your story and your business. I'm really curious to hear, what are your goals? What are your goals for Torq Coatings?
That's a great question. I think, the goal is to honestly, own the Midwest. And from there, we've got some pretty aggressive revenue goals that I don't really think, that revenue's vanity at the end of the day, right? I don't really need to share that, but they're high dollar goals. We want to be in 15 to 20 markets in the next 3 to 5 years. We want to serve a lot of homeowners and take care of them the right way and just honestly deliver a different customer experience than anyone else in the coating space. And I think what's the thing is that the bar hasn't been set very high. There's a lot of companies that are just turning and burning, leads and just, we want to obviously grow. We want to be profitable, and through doing that, can provide opportunity for everyone that's involved. Seeing hundreds of people win is pretty cool. Just doing it in a fun way because we all spend more time at work than we do at home. So it's like you want to enjoy what you do and do it the right way and have fun doing it too, right? The challenge though is, can you build a team that you can go to war with, right? A business is hard enough as it is, life is hard enough as it is, but you want to enjoy people you do it with.
Well, one last thing, what has your experience with Review Harvest been like so far?
Not very good. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be on here if it wasn't good. And I crossed paths, in a previous life, and I got introduced to you through a good friend of mine, John Noonan with Region Scoopers, and you helped make a big impact in such a small business for him. It was really cool to see, and he's like, dude, you got to try this. And then, Clay, you're just one of those guys that's just genuine. You care, your wife cares, and anybody that's ever been involved. But like, I remember like having like a reactivation campaign. We had like a customer list, 500, 800 people, and it was like, holy crap, overnight we got like, or not overnight, but like within 60 days, we had like 60 to 80 plus reviews of a lift. It was like, whoa. And we're seeing it right now. Like, I hands down tell you that over 40% of the jobs we're doing, we're getting reviews on right now. And that's a hard metric to hit. I did this with you and told nobody on my team about it. And it's just like, whoa, what is going on? You know? And like one or two people, they know what it is and all that, but like it just automatically happens. So we do that garage, and at the end of that garage, like the high of that customer's experience is never greater than it is at that time, right? The salesperson's not going back. And so if they don't get a review while we're there, and sometimes homeowners aren't home because they're busy, right? I just got a ding. We just got another review as we're on this freaking call. It's awesome. So that automated tech, it's personalized. Automation's great, but it also like, you don't want automation that just seems like AI or roboty, and it's personalized. And that's what I like about it. And it's like, we're reaching out, but we're not spamming people. You're on a mission and you're going to do things the right way. And that's what I like about working with you. I actually have a referral for you. So I'm going to set you up with somebody after this. But if you're looking to take your reviews from whatever they're at and add 100, 200, 300, 400, and you're serving hundreds and thousands of customers a year, why would you not spend a couple $100s a month with Review Harvest? It's the greatest SEO. Google still dominates the space, even with the LLMs. Like they're pulling it all in there. So I'm excited, and we're getting ready to launch a new market play, and I'm going to utilize it for each market we're in, because we want to we want to be a market leader everywhere we are. That's the goal.
I love it, Crayton. Well, I got to give you the crown for the best video testimonial ever after this. No, Crayton, I really appreciate your time. We're going to have Torq Coatings website linked down below in the description of this video, wherever you're watching it. And so definitely check them out if you're in the area. Give them a call. Obviously, you can check out the reviews. They do a great job. Besides that, Crayton, anywhere else people should get in touch with you or your business?
No, I mean, personally, people can find me on LinkedIn if they ever want to chat. I'm very open-minded and love to, help others. I wouldn't learn if it wasn't help me learn too, So I'm open-minded there. And then torqcoatings.com, we're on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media. Currently, we're in the Chicagoland, Milwaukee, shortly launching in Michigan. Look forward to continuing to grow, and Review Harvest can help support that. So appreciate everything you do, Clay.
Well, thanks for your time, guys. Check them out in the description. Check out that link down below in the description.